So, welcome to my channel, Livable Planet. Today we will talk to Dr. Clapper. Let's get to know how he turned vegan, why is veganism important, can a pregnant woman be vegan, can a baby be vegan as well, and is vegan being healthy or is just a fad? So, if you want to know all of that, please watch the whole video. So, let's get rolling with some questions today. When did you turn vegan?
I went vegan in my diet lifestyle in 1981, so do the math, 39 years ago, I believe.
Do you miss non vegan food?
Not at all, and especially now. Back in 1981, there wasn't much else to eat outside of lettuce and raisins. Now there's all these wonderful non-dairy ice creams and coffee creamers, and there needs to put on your sandwiches. They're not the healthiest in the world, but it's helps people transition, and it's much easier. So no, I don't miss anything. I have a veggie burger once a month or so. It just enough. I don't need to eat any more of that.
And are you completely plant based and you avoid all the oils and processed food as well?
Less and less and less. Oils are not good, especially when they're heated. They're not gentle with the arteries. They change blood clotting. It's not good to be eating these oils.
So, I have this question. If the mother decides for the baby to be vegan, what should she be feeding post her feed?
Very important question, of course. And no, a human baby has no more need the milk of a cow than it does the milk of a giraffe or the milk of an ox. I mean, you wouldn't give dog milk to a baby. No, the babies really should be nursing on the mother's breast for a good year, actually, not just 6 months. The baby, if at all possible, should nurse for a year, and then they're ready for solid food. Then you make up the thin dolls and rice gruels and fruit compost, and you transfer them onto solid foods. At 6 months, a little early, but you can start the cereals and the mashed up. If you've got a vegan mother and father who are eating rice and lentils, well, you can just mash that up, add a little bit of water, and give it to the baby. They're about ready for solid foods then. But if you can afford it, there's infant formulas made from soy and other things that you can, if the baby really needs some type of bottle feeding, there's non-cow milk based formulas you can give. So use that to bridge the gap. But by and large, it's time for the child to eat solid food. And if they skip the dairy stage, they have a much lower incidence of diabetes. They have much less breast cancer. They're all the way around. It's a good thing to not give the child dairy.
The most important and the famous question revolving around vegans, the B12 deficiency. What is it? Where do vegans get their B12 from?
So vitamin B12 is an important vitamin. It's you need it for healthy spinal cord, for your blood, for your nerves. You need some, and it's made by microbes, bacteria that live in the soil, in the water, and when we were living earth-connected lives, when we were a million years ago, we were foraging for food. We would pull up roots and tubers and eat them, and there would be B12 on the surface of the roots. When we were thirsty, we'd find a stream and drink from the stream, and there'd be B12 in the stream water. The animals would walk through the water. There would be B12, and no one needed B12 supplements back then. But welcome to the 21st century. In cities where they clean the water supply, when they add chlorine to the drinking water, it kills the bacteria that make the B12. Which is not a terrible thing. You don't want to be treating cholera and typhoid fever, and it's a good thing. But it's the trade-off that we do for modern sanitation is that we lose the natural B12 sources. Now, if you're still living out in the country where you are, and they're not purifying the water, probably people get all the B12 they need from the water and the surface of the vegetables. They probably also get diarrhea and parasites and all sorts of other things, but it's just part of being connected to the natural world. So none of us, at least in the West here, no one's living natural lives anymore. The water's treated, the air is different, the food is different. We hold on to this, we can't supplement, it's not natural. But who are we kidding? This is not a natural life we're living here. And the trade-off we make for clean drinking water is that we lose the B12. So we here in America, we say, once a week, take a B12 supplement, take 1,000 micrograms of vitamin B12. You might want to get your B12 level checked once a year and see where it's at. It's probably fine. But if it's low, if it's below 400 or so, then once a week you want to take some B12. They're cheap, these little tablets you put under your tongue. So that's the story on it. And again, welcome to modern life. But the problem's not with the natural world.
Do we get B12 from eating organic and raw as well?
You certainly might, and that's what I'm saying. Get your B12 level checked, and if it's normal, I won't be surprised. There's probably B12 on the surface of the vegetables there. Here, everything is scrubbed with chlorinated water, and so we lose the B12. But you folks don't do that. You probably get B12 off your vegetables, so get it checked.
When you transition to a vegan, your body goes through a lot of changes, ups and downs. Some see positives and some see negatives. Some may experience that their hair fall has stopped, but some may experience a lot of hair fall. Why is it so?
No, but it's an important question. I've seen that from time to time. A couple of things. When people go vegan and you stop dairy products coming out of the udders of the cow, well, cow's milk is full of estrogens. And in America, the cows are all pregnant, and I think that's happening in your country too. Well, the milk and the cheese and the dairy is full of estrogens, and estrogens make your hair grow. Ask any pregnant woman during pregnancy, the hair grows. Well, when you stop the dairy and you stop the estrogens, the level falls, and hair, people notice the hair loss. It's normal, it's fine. Every pregnant woman, 6 months after the baby comes, she's losing her hair, and that's just from a falling estrogen level. But it's good that estrogen level falls. That high estrogen level gives women breast lumps. It gives them big fibroids. It makes them bleed heavy. It gives guys man boobs and prostate cancer. You don't want those high levels of estrogen. So that's a good sign, truth of it is. If they lose too much weight, then they're not eating enough protein and not enough fat. They need more lentil dal. They need another avocado. They need some more rice and quinoa. They just need to eat more if they're losing too much weight. It's important to get a little iodine in your diet for your thyroid glands. Some folks may get hypothyroid from not enough iodine in their diet. So some sea vegetables or some iodized salt a few times a week, some seaweed like wakame or arame, you probably can get that there, or some iodized salt is a good place. But root vegetables, depending on your soil, root vegetables, carrots, sweet potatoes, they have iodine as well. So those would be the three reasons: the elimination of the dairy estrogens, they're not enough eating and not enough protein and fat, and they might be a little short of iodine. So those are all easily fixable. No reason to, I got to go back and eat more dairy. No, you don't, unless you want breast cancer and prostate cancer and all those problems.
What are your thoughts about fish farming? Is it healthy? Is sustainable fish farming the actual solution?
Fish farming is a disaster for the environment, and it's not healthy for the fish or the people that eat it. They have this image, it's vegetarian. Well, it's not. Most of the fish are carnivores or salmon, and so it's like raising leopards or cheetahs. They are carnivorous fish, and so so you have to, out where the fishing nets scoop up all these fish, they grind them up and feed them to the fish in the cages. They're feeding fish to raise more fish. It ultimately depletes the ocean. but you pen up thousands and thousands of salmon or tilapia in a net cage, and just pour in the nutrients. Well, they put out excrement, and the amount of waste that it eutrophies the water. It makes the algae bloom, and which sucks oxygen out of the water. It spawns diseases. It attracts. It spawns diseases like sea lice, these small arthropods, that then the whales come by to check out the fish smell, and the sea lice grab the whales, and so a whole chain reaction of environmental disasters happen. But the marketing is, oh boy, fresh fish. But it's a disaster for the ocean, and the whales pay the price, the fish pay the price, all the way around. It's another marketing gimmick. Eat the plants, and you won't have to create all that disaster out in the ocean. But no, fish farming is not good for the environment or for the people. When you pen the fish up, they get infections. So you got to dump in antibiotics. They feed the fish tetracycline and antifungal agents. It's as bad as factory farming cows and pigs. It's the same thing. It's a violation of natural law. It's a crime against nature to pen up these free swimming fish. And we pay the price. And the fish flesh is not healthy. It accumulates mercury and all sorts of things from the water. And do not think that farmed fish is good for the body or for the planet. It's not.
But, doctor, if we do not eat animals, they will crowd the planet, isn't it? Eating animals is nature's law, isn't it?
There are every year on planet Earth, we cut the throats of 70 billion living creatures. Cows, pigs, chickens, lambs, fish, animals that love their life as much as we do, 70 billion of them. Where did they come from? We create them. We are breeding them by the billions every year. We humans, we can't say, oh, it's natural. No, it's not. We're creating them. Stop making more of them is what you stop eating them, and then stop making more of them. And the number of animals will go down, put the rest of them out to live their lives happily, but separate the boys from the girls so they don't have any more young, and let them live out their lives, but stop making more of them. Oh, it's natural. It's natural if you're a shark, but we're not sharks. We are plant-eating hominid creatures. We have the same digestive system basically that the gorillas and the bonobos have, and they're eating leaves and fruit because they're plant-eating creatures, and that's basically who we are. We have fingers on our hands, not claws. We've got big long intestines for digesting fiber. We've got saliva in our mouth that has enzymes for digesting starch, not protein. We're plant-eating creatures. That whole idea that sharks eat fish and snakes eat rat had nothing to do with us. Time for that to end. No matter what we did in the past, no matter who we ate, no matter the hunters, the goat herds, the cow herds, it doesn't matter. It's only here we are in the 21st century. There are almost 8 billion humans on this planet. What are we going to eat in a sustainable way that we can do in the future? There's no question. We are being told as individuals, if we want to be healthy without clogged arteries and diabetes, change to a plant-based diet. And as a species, as the carbon dioxide is going up and the ice caps are melting and the forests are disappearing, that too, the same answer. You want to survive as a species? Evolve your diet to a plant-based diet. The forest will come back, the carbon dioxide will go down. It's our ticket to a livable future. It doesn't matter how many cows that Krishna milked. It doesn't matter at this point. The dairy industry is a cruel industry. And I know, and I'm not Hindu, and I don't want to offend anyone, but biology is biology. Dairying is a cruel slaughter industry. You cannot keep that milk flowing without taking that calf away from the mother and making that mother suffer. There is no other way to get that milk. It's a cruel industry. And if it's a male calf, it gets its throat cut into veal. It's a female calf. She doesn't live out her natural life by and large. At least certainly in America they don't. And you guys slaughter a lot of the cow. You got a big beef industry there, I'm told, in India now. People, non-Hindu folks, do the slaughtering. But it's destroying your planet. And the cows, you turn them loose and they're eating the plastic bags on the road and they're starving to death from plastic obstructions all the way around. Enough already. The traditions are costing us too much. We got to declare peace with life. Stop killing things, eat things that nourish us, that heal the planet, and we'll have a livable future.
In India, we say it's Gau Mata's Ashirwad, ghee, milk, curd, etc. Is it?
It's no gift, it's a theft. We're taking that milk. We take that calf, then we take the milk. It's not giving it to us.
Yeah, I just imagine that, I am sucking on some other mother's milk and I'm like,
Really?
yeah.
Really? Exactly. It's when you think about the reality of it, is how you stop killing. It's time to stop killing everything. It's no solution.
But some say plants are living too. Shouldn't we stop eating plants too?
You know that's not true. Let me do, for people who say that, and again, I have never heard a carrot scream or a stalk of celery when I cut it. And I listen, and I don't hear any suffering, no blood do I see. But really, I say, all right, if you think that the plants have the same consciousness, do this little thought experiment. Imagine you're standing there, I invite you into the yard of my home, and there's this lovely green carpet of grass. And I said, oh, take your shoes off and walk across the grass to see me. And you take your shoes off, that grass is cool and feels soft and feels wonderful. Oh boy, I enjoyed that walk across the grass. I said, fine, great. Now, let's do the same thing, but instead of grass, in your mind's eye, let's turn this into a big yard full of little baby chickens, little yellow baby chicks. Okay, walk across me, walk across the baby chicks. How does that make you feel? Feel good? So right away, that should tell you that whole idea, oh, well, the grass doesn't feel pain, and you don't feel it either when you walk on it, but you sure would on those baby chicks. So that whole idea, the plants don't suffer. Do they have consciousness? Maybe. Do I want to hack down a big, beautiful cypress tree or whatever? No, I don't want to do that. They deserve their lives too. But I feel no guilt when I cut a carrot. I sure feel guilt when I cut a chicken, no doubt.
Why is soy or almond or any other nut milk expensive? Shouldn't the cow milk be more expensive? Feeding, torturing, raping, killing a cow for the milk is cheaper than grinding some nuts for the same, right? 1 liter of cow milk is equal to 65 rupees, almond milk is equal to 320 rupees, and soy milk is equal to 130 rupees. It becomes a matter of concern when we wish to transition to vegan lifestyle, right?
And unnecessary. They're playing the economics game. Same thing in my country. The government pays the dairy industry, pays the meat industry, so the cost to the consumer is low. It's not really low, but and that's an artificially low price that you have. If the dairy industry in your country really had to pay for all the water use, the water pollution, the greenhouse gases, the destruction to the environment, all the grains, etc., that milk would cost many more rupees. If the economics are tilted in both our countries here. And it shouldn't be. Soybeans are cheap. That soy milk should not cost that much. And there's so many other milks now. You can make milk out of rice. We have rice milk, oat milk, hemp milk. Any grain you can grind up and make a milk out of. And with all your wonderful entrepreneurs in your country, surely some very bright young Indian fellow is going to say, oh, look at all that rice there. Let's turn it into rice milk. So that's going to change, but people need to be aware of it. They need to make the purchase, buy the soy milk right now, even if it costs you the extra dollar. It's worth it. That the dairy milk is not good for babies or adults, and it leads to diseases. So the soy milk is still the better bargain, but there should be other milks along soon.
Okay, so I have one more question. In the plant based diet, we fart a lot. Why is it so?
Oh,
FART.
when we fart a lot. Oh, yes. All animals fart. We do. And you're eating carbohydrates. And down in your colon, you've got trillions of organisms that love to turn carbohydrates into carbon dioxide and methane. And all animals fart, cows fart, they all fart, monkeys, etc. Now, some things will make us fart more, and each person has to learn how their digestive system reacts to certain foods. But things change. You eat a certain food for a week, you'll summon up microbes in your colon in response to that food that may or may not be a gas producing microbe. And then you'll eat a food with lots of carbohydrates, but it may not turn into gas, you may not have a lot of farts, but depending on the microbes that you summoned up there, sometimes you do. This too shall pass. Some weeks you fart a lot, some weeks you don't. It really doesn't matter. The nice things, they don't smell so bad. It's the meat. And many people, when they go vegan, they say, my body odor is better. And my wife says I don't smell so much. Even my farts are better. And that's right, because it's the flesh decomposing in our colon that really makes for the bad smelling molecules. So you may fart a little more, but you'll offend fewer people. So strange topic, but that's the truth of it. We are plant-eating creatures. We eat starches and legumes, where we're going to produce some gas. It's not a bad thing, and some foods will do it less than other. One thing important is chew your food to a cream. A lot of the gas that people pass is swallowed air. If you have a forkful of rice, there's air between the grains of rice. If you've got broccoli, there's air down the sheets of the broccoli. And if people are eating and talking and shoveling the food in, they swallow a lot of air. And once that air is in your stomach, it's going to go one of two places. It's going to go up, going to go down. You either release it from above, or it goes down and you get gassy and bloated and you pass it as wind. And people blame the beans and the lentils, but truth is, because they're eating so darn fast that they're swallowing a lot of air. So if you slow down, you put a forkful of salad in your mouth, put the fork down, make salad puree in your mouth before you swallow it, you'll not only get more nutrients out of the food, it forces the air out of the food when you chew it to a cream, and so you'll swallow a lot less air, you'll fart a lot less if you chew your food better. So another reason to slow down, enjoy your food.
So can a vegan diet be followed when a woman is pregnant? Is the same healthy?
Oh, yes, I've delivered dozens of babies to vegan parents. And ever since the 1970s, I've delivered over 400 babies, and a good 20 of them were to vegan parents. And every one of these moms and dads heard from their family, you're going to be vegan, or that baby's not going to get enough nutrition, that baby's going to come out weighing 1 kilo and going to have all sorts of problems. And they get all this grief from their families. And the truth is, though, they go through these lovely pregnancies, they don't gain too much weight, so they don't need cesarean sections. Their blood pressures don't go up. They don't get preeclampsia. When they go into labor, they have usually easy labors, as easy as labors can be, and they push out these beautiful 6-pound, 3-kilo baby, 2.5 kilos. I'm sorry, I'm not good at converting here. These healthy, bouncing boys, vigorous boys and girls, and who grow up to be these lovely young vegan people. I watch them now grow up and marry other vegan people and have their own babies. It's a natural, lovely thing to do. And it's the women who eat the meat and the dairy who get the diabetes, they get the high blood pressure, they need cesarean sections, they get the wound infections, they get the bleeds, they get so many problems. So no, it makes good sense. You got to eat enough. If you're a pregnant mom, you've got to really eat the lentils and the beans and the dal, and you got to eat a significant amount of food. But if you do, it's a reasonable thing to do. The babies come out just fine, and the mothers do better actually. So not to worry.
So
There's
since
books now. If anyone is pregnant and wants to do it as a vegan, get on online, vegan pregnancy, and or do a search on vegan pregnancy, raising vegan babies, raising vegan children. There's lots of good information now. You'll find the information
I
out.
want to share something. The period cramps, the headaches, the constant migraines have just gone away. But how? As this is miracle for me. I do not need any medicines anymore.
Right. The period cramps are usually, again, a hormone imbalance. Too much estrogen can create period cramps, and when you stop the dairy, estrogen levels even out, and the uterus relaxes, and you don't get the severe cramps. You don't get the extra heavy bleeding, the extra heavy lining of the uterus. It's the natural diet for human beings. Does not include the milk of a cow that's pregnant. And so, absolutely, period cramps are not natural anyway, and it's right that they disappeared for you. That was your reward from the animals for not eating them, and from the cows for not drinking their milk. They
So glad.
rewarded you for that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, would you like to share your thoughts on the fashion industry using their skin for our coats or leather, or even the boiling of silkworm for silk?
We human beings, boy, everything is for us to use, and we take. We're the takers, and we take the planet, we take the trees, we take the waters, we take everything, and we take the animals. So they're here for us to use. No, they're not. They're here for us to take care of, and the. Yeah, and again, a million years ago, when people were starving and shivering in the cold, would the hide of an animal keep you from freezing to death? Okay, but don't make an industry out of it. Don't make fashion out of it. An animal suffered and died for that, and you're wearing its skin. Uh, and I used to wear leather. I'm not pointing my fingers. I didn't become vegan until I was 34. But but when I stopped eating animals, a couple weeks later, I looked at my leather shoes and I looked at my leather belt, and I had grown up in a Jewish household after World War II. And I knew very well the stories of what the Nazis did to the Jews, and how they killed them in the concentration camps, and they made belts and lampshades out of the skins of the Jews. Well, I looked at my leather shoes and my leather belt, and it looked cadaverous. It looked this. It's another animal's skin, and so I went to in my backyard. I took a shovel and I dug a hole. I put my leather shoes in there. I put my leather belt, my leather wallet in there. I filled in the hole. I stepped back. I apologized to the animals. If you don't know, you don't know. But once you know, yeah, you have an obligation. I said, I won't do that again. And the era of hemp wallets and non-leather belts and canvas shoes began. And I haven't looked back since. It's a ghoulish thing to do, to be wearing these as our decorations. And I don't know I don't know if you ever had a fur industry there, but we used to have furs and mink and all that, and people are looking and say that's ghoulish, and the fur industry is disappearing, as it should. And
Yeah.
all of these, the leathers and all that stuff, enough already. It's from another era. We're better than that.
Okay, hypothetical situation, a very, like a dream situation for all of us. That what if the world goes vegan tomorrow? What will happen to the millions of animals we have now?
Stop making more of them, and do something else with the land. Well, what's the farmers going to do? Then raise vegetables, pay them to take care of the forest, do something else with the land. I don't want to kick anybody off their home land, but don't do something else that doesn't involve killing, that doesn't involve destruction and suffering. That's all. It's just time to change. We used to do a lot of things. Now let's do something else better.
But I have been told that the cow is the mother of all, like for all of us and for all the other animals as well.
Oh yeah, I did much of my growing up on my uncle's dairy farm in Wisconsin. I've been milking cows since I was 8. I know this, and they're lovely animals, and they're beautiful, and they got those big, lovely eyes, and they're vegan animals, and they love their calves. They're beautiful animals, but but to say that, oh, they give us their milk, we take that gentleness and we clothe ourselves with it, when the reality is that that cow carries that baby for 9 months, just like a human mother does, gives birth to a 65-pound baby, and then within 48 hours we take that baby away and suck the milk off. It's a theft, and that mother bellows for hours and hours. The most painful memory I have in my memory bank is the sound of a mother cow locked up in the barn in the stanchion with her baby 10 yards away in the veal pen, because my uncle took the calf away so he could get the milk. And that mother bellows hour after hour, day after day, the most heart-rending, soul-tearing cries because you can't get to her baby. And the inherent cruelty in all dairy products is embodied in that sound that still echoes in my ears. So to think that, oh, the cows give us their bounty. No, they don't. We take it. It's a theft. And it's a heartless one. And it's especially a sin against women, against the female of the species. We lock that cow up and we impregnate her. We forcibly ram that bull semen into her. She carries the baby, gives birth. We take her baby away from her. We suck that milk off her. And when her milk production goes down, we shoot her in the head and eat her flesh. Dairy is a cruel industry. It's got this image, ooh, milk is white and pure and you don't have to kill the mother. Yes, the mothers are killed. And no, in my country, no cow dies of old age. So they all get turned into hamburger. And so to think the truth is, the dairy barn is a short stopping off place on the way to the slaughterhouse. There are for a few years of calves and milk, and then they wind up slaughtered. So everybody needs to stop kidding themselves about the dairy industry. That is some benevolent fountain of benign white liquid. And this white liquid is full of estrogens and growth factors and pesticides and leukemia viruses. It's not healthy stuff to begin with. But the price that the cows and the calves have to pay should make anyone with a heart say, I don't want to pay for that. Because every time you buy more milk or more yogurt, you're saying, take another calf away from its mother. You shoot another mother in the head there. The women, we're all paying for it, but it's such a crime against the sisterhood, against women, that women especially should avoid dairy products.
So, one very important question: what if my milk is coming from my nearby village or an NGO? They are not torturing the cows as the industry or a factory does, and they do not take their calf away, they keep them like a family. Can this be the change? Is this milk better than the one which we are getting right now?
Again, I was with you. If you really have a cow as a pet and she's an honored member of your household and she's going to live out her full life and in the sunshine, I have no problem with that. But you can't keep making her pregnant and taking her babies away, because that is required to keep that milk flowing. You want her milk, you got to make her pregnant and take her baby away. That's where I draw the line. That's not gentle. That's not vegan. But just to have the cow as a pet, fine with me. Just don't rape her and take her baby away.
Yeah. Okay, so my list of questions is complete. Anything else would you like to tell us? And
Well,
I have a lot of young following on my page. So for the young people, yeah.
Well, how wonderful that you have the awareness in your own evolution that you have come to this point. It took me till I was 35 to have these awakenings. So I'm so proud of you, and so pleased that not only you've come to this point, but you're sharing it through this wonderful medium that didn't exist when I was your age. And to all you listeners who are listening to her, bless you that you've taken time from your day and you're open to these thoughts, to even let them in, to consider them. And you saw Cowspiracy and you let it in. You got them. You got it. You heard the message and you let it touch your heart. You let it touch your head. Lots of people see the movie, they just get on with their lives. You're a remarkable being. You opened your mind and your heart to this, and you're acting on it, and that makes you a real leader and a real warrioress of the heart. And we need lots more like you. Good for you. So consider me an ally, and I hope we are able to do future podcasts in future as more questions come up. I'll be glad to help any way I can. And let's make it a more vegan world. You're doing a great job. Yes. All the best to you, and namaste to all your viewers and to you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.